Now here's a real shocker. Here's my shock face. Ready? Here's my not shocked face. Right. You know, I get on the Catholic Church all the time as soon as I see a story about another Catholic priest messing with some children, etc. And some people, of course, people I've never heard of in my life, come in to comment. You know, well, what about these other groups, this and that? Why are you just focused on this Catholic Church? And I responded, well, because there's news about the Catholic Church right now, so I'm going to post on it. If you want to send me some new news or other news, then, you know, that's one thing. And I will report on it. I will report on it. What the? Hang on. So, here's a story. Boy Scouts. There's another term I'm going to use here. Better late than never. If that means anything. Boy Scouts release secret child abuse files. The pain and the anguish of thousands. NBC News actually reporting on this. More than 1,200 formerly secret Boy Scout files detailing accusations of child sex abuse within the organization from 1965 to 1985 were published online Thursday by lawyers who said they offered lessons in the battle against pedophiles. Kind of like the war on drugs that our government tells us about. Meanwhile, the CIA is bringing in the cocaine and other drugs. They're telling us, well, there's a war on drugs, we're going to win that war. There's a war on pedophiles, and we're going to win that war, so feel safe about bringing your kids to the Catholic Church, the priest, and leaving them alone with them, as well as now included the Boy Scouts, which I've talked about in the past, that if you were a pedophile, where would you go? Are you going to go driving up and down the streets? Hey, little kid, come in here. Oh, they scream. Mom and dad call the cops. The cops come. Are you going to be that stupid? I'm sure you hear about that every now and then, and that's a real dummy. But all pedophiles don't equal dummies, so some pedophiles are smart or normal or average as far as intelligence goes. And they realize, why would I even attempt to do that when I could just be a Boy Scout leader or a priest in the Catholic Church and get exactly what my fixins are, my needs are, sexual addiction, whatever, with children. I could do that and get paid for it. Wow, this is incredible. Where else on earth can you do that? Mostly in America, but you know, in this case, you know, we're talking about the Boy Scouts here. So the documents known as the quote ineligible volunteer files within the organization were ordered released by the Oregon Supreme Court. So it took a Supreme Court to release simple files that should have been public information to begin with, that they kept hush-hush. And since 1965 to 1985, they're just now being released. 85, 95, 2005, almost 30 years later, not quite. Almost 30 years later, and we're finding about what happened from 1965 to 1985. What about 1985 to 2012 or 11 or just any time in the recent history here? Any recent year. I wonder what those files might show. Probably much worse, because as time goes on, things get worse, especially when they've been hiding it, etc. And it took the Supreme Court of Oregon to get those files released. Media organizations had sued for the release of the files, part of a 2010 case in which a Portland, Oregon jury decided that the Scouts were negligent in allowing a former assistant scoutmaster to associate with the organization's youth after he admitted molesting 17 boys, said Kelly Clark, one of the victim's attorneys. He admitted doing it, and the organization's Papa, come on, come to Papa. Why? Because he's one of the club. one of the pedophile club. It's kind of like the Bankers Club. JP Morgan, Citigroup, Goldman Sachs, heads of CFTC, head of the SEC, you know, Securities and Exchange Commission, the oversight regulatory agencies. I give them a little slap on the wrist here. Pay this little measly fine for committing massive felonies. You should be in prison. Just pay this little fine. We'll settle out of court. Don't admit guilt. Have a nice day. Take that over to the pedophile. Catholic Church, for example. Hey, I did a story recently about these things. You know, guys caught doing it before, and hey, well, how the hell did he get promoted to a bishop? Or whatever, right? And it happens. Here we have the Scoutmaster admitted messing with children. Come on in. We got a position just for you. We got a whole bunch of new little kids coming in. We want you to take care of it because you're our pal. You're part of the pedophile club. Now, they don't call themselves pedophile clubs. Like the bankers, they don't call themselves the club, you know, the elite club. They don't call themselves that. They are just that. So they look around their worldview is we are what we are. We're not a club. We're not anything. This is normal. Well, I don't see anything wrong. And that's the same thing pedophiles are. They're not, you know, they don't have like a pedophile club group where they get together and have a, you know, they got members of the pedophile board. I'm a member of the board, and we're going to make a decision on the age group of children we're going to start screwing around with. I think we need to go lower. All in favor, say aye. Oh, boy. Oh, boy, that was easy. Everyone said aye. Everyone raised their hand. Wow. Again, can you imagine what 1985 to 2012 looked like? If that was 1965 to 1985. Oh my God. And imagine if you were one of those parents that said, you know, I just don't feel comfortable leaving my kids, you know, with other people. And remember, we're talking Boy Scouts, so we're talking boys going to a club, a little Boy Scout club, with men, you know, older men as their scout master, scout leader, etc. You would normally think that's okay because, again, they're boys and that's a man. Just like the Girl Scouts is girls with women. But strangely enough, you don't hear about this with women. It's only men, which is odd, which is definitely odd. I mean, sure, you hear about the case with the women, you know, women teacher and teenage kids, you know, at the school. I'm not talking about teenage for one thing. And where I come from in this society, you'd be getting a clapping hand. Oh man, you scored with the teacher, yeah, you know. Not an 8-year-old. You wouldn't say that to an 8-year-old, but a 14, 15, 16-year-old, 14 being probably the lowest, sure. It's the way it is. But you don't hear about that with women. For whatever reason. So, imagine being the person or the parent, I'm not taking my kids there. Why not? It's the freaking Boy Scouts. You know, my kids go. What's wrong with you? Let your kid go. He wants to go. He wants to have fun with his friends. Yeah, but you know, you don't really know who's watching over them. It's a freaking Scoutmaster. What's wrong with you, clown? God, you're such an idiot. I'm letting my kids go. You want to, you know, be the Gestapo on your kids? Go ahead. Can you imagine how many parents had that discussion with their friends and neighbors about their kids? Probably not that many, because the very few who would have had thinking outside the box that I don't really want to let my kids go with strangers, there's very few people who would allow that. And I mean the strangers being the Boy Scouts. Everyone, oh, the Boy Scouts, that's like a prestigious entity. What are you talking, you know, where's my tie? You know, the club. We're also, you know, the Boy Scout club too. Move this damn microphone before I punch it again. So, another day, another pedophile group exposed. I mean, this is just incredible. Unbelievable. Again, if you're a pedophile, you're going to go where it's easy, where it comes to you and you get paid. You're not going to be driving it. Oh, you know, they teach us in school, say no to strangers. When someone pulls up in a car or van and says, hey, would you like some candy? You say no to strangers. Now, last time I checked, there was no kind of teaching class about the Boy Scouts or going to church. Just say no. Just say no to the preacher or priest or bishop, and just say no to the Scoutmaster. Nope, those guys weren't included. It was just the terrorist driver, so to speak. You know, the weird, crazy white guy driving in the van. Hey, kid, you want some candy? Yeah. Got a lot of candy. That's all we were taught. And this is from 65 to 1985. In 85, I was a child. Matter of fact, I would have been around 8 years old. About 8 years old, 1985. So if I was 8 years old, I was prime age to get ready for them Boy Scouts, so right, man, I'm right there. My parents never, I didn't want to go to Boy Scouts, but my parents never, ever even thought it would be a bad idea or anything. I had a friend that went to Boy Scouts and had a good time. Now, of course, I never talked to him and asked him, did they do anything to him, because you would never think to ask that kind of question. And I hope it hasn't. And just by the way he acted, I don't think anything happened. But anyways, that's not the case for 1,200 other kids. That's no small amount. As a matter of fact, that may even top what the Catholic Church has been caught doing. But then again, the Catholic Church keeps everything secret too. And there's not going to be a court order to go to the Vatican and say, show us these documents that you've been hiding at the Vatican in the vaults. Why? Because the Vatican is its own country. And probably for a good reason, such as that. Anyways, what else can I say? Take care.